There's been significant news surrounding Alexander Isak today. A transfer fee that set a record for the club, followed by what has been a somewhat slow start to his career at Liverpool. However, this recent development is a major setback for both the player and the club. The last few months have been challenging for Isak. He did manage to score an important goal against Tottenham over the weekend, but shortly after he sustained an injury following a strong challenge from Mickey van Deven. Initially, the injury looked serious, and it seems that Isak could be sidelined for a considerable period. This challenge has sparked some debate, particularly among Liverpool supporters, who feel that Van Deven might have received a yellow card had the challenge occurred elsewhere on the field. From a defender's perspective, though, it's understandable. A desperate attempt to prevent a goal. Still, Isak's pain was evident, and all we can do now is await further news on the length of his recovery. The situation doesn't look promising. This is a major blow, not just for Isak, but for Liverpool as well. As mentioned earlier, his career at the club had struggled to gain momentum. Due to injury, he missed a proper preseason, with his season effectively starting much later than planned. By November, manager Anna Slot had mentioned that it was only now that Isak was truly beginning his season. After that, he had a few starts and found the back of the net in the Premier League for the first time at the London Stadium. He added another goal against Tottenham, and it seemed like this could be the platform Isak needed to kickstart his career at Liverpool. But now, just as things seem to be turning around, this injury threatens to halt that progress. With this setback, the pressing question for Liverpool is whether they'll act in the upcoming January transfer window. The club has a history of making significant moves in the winter market, and with Isak's injury, a reinforcement might be needed. While the January transfer window officially opens on December 27th, there have already been reports about Liverpool's activities. The biggest transfer news of the night is that Liverpool have reached an agreement with Southampton for the transfer of Virgil van Dijk. The deal, which Liverpool tried to complete over the summer, had been delayed by some back and forth between the two clubs. But now it appears that the deal is finally secured. This transfer will see Van Dijk move to Anfield in January, marking the latest significant addition to Liverpool's defensive options. Van Dijk's transfer, which set a new world record for a defender at £75 million, was one of Liverpool's marquee signings back in 2018. Since then, the club has also made notable January acquisitions, such as Luis Diaz from Porto and Cody Gakpo from PSV. Historically, Liverpool has done significant business in January, with major signings like Andy Carroll, Luis Suarez, Daniel Sturridge, and Felipe Coutinho, all joining the club during this transfer window. As for potential forward additions, one name likely to be discussed is Antoine Semenyo. There has been increasing interest in the Bournemouth forward, with several top clubs, including Manchester City and Manchester United, expressing their intentions to make a move for him in January. Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur are also longtime admirers of Semenyo, although Tottenham's pursuit of him had been thwarted by a high asking price over the summer. It remains to be seen whether Liverpool will now act on their interest, especially in light of Isak's injury. For Manchester United, their recent transfer strategy has focused on acquiring players with Premier League experience, like Gernot Kova and Brian Mbeumo. Semenyo would certainly fit that mold and could be a solid addition to their squad. However, Semenyo recently signed a new contract that includes a release clause, believed to be between £60 million and £65 million, valid until mid-January. After that, the release clause drops, so the first half of the transfer window could see some movement, especially if one of the interested clubs is willing to trigger that clause. For all the interest in Semenyo, though, it seems that if Liverpool enter the race, they may prove to be the strongest contender. Given the current situation at the club, with Isak's injury and their need for further attacking options, it could be a move that benefits all parties. Liverpool have long been admirers of Antoine Semenyo. Over the years, they've explored the possibility of signing him, and their track record in January transfers shows a clear pattern. Take Luis Diaz, for instance. It looked like he was heading to Tottenham, only for Liverpool to swoop in at the last minute. The same happened with Cody Gakpo, who was initially targeted by Manchester United, but Liverpool made their move when it mattered. This is how Liverpool typically operates in the transfer market. They don't engage in bidding wars. Instead, they wait for the right moment, holding back until other clubs are close to finalizing a deal. Then, with impeccable timing, Liverpool makes their move, offering to match the terms that have been agreed upon. And the reason for this strategy? Liverpool is a highly attractive destination for players, and more often than not, players choose Anfield when given the choice. As things stand, Liverpool was expecting a quiet January after a busy summer transfer window. There's money available to strengthen the squad, and they've sometimes moved quickly to secure a summer target if they believe the player might be snapped up by another club. With Isak's injury, however, there is a chance that Liverpool might accelerate their plans, particularly in the forward department. Discussions are likely taking place at the highest levels within the club over the next few days to determine whether to move for Semenyo this January. One interesting element of this situation is that major clubs, including Liverpool, often don't plan big January moves. The priority is usually to finalize business in the summer, having their key targets in place for the season ahead. However, the situation with Luis Diaz provides an important precedent. While Liverpool initially planned to sign him in the summer, Tottenham came in strong in January, leading to a sudden shift in plans. Diaz, unwilling to wait for the summer, was brought in early, thanks to some swift action by Liverpool. If Liverpool holds similar long-term interest in Semenyo, it's possible that they will follow a similar path. If another club moves in for him in January, Liverpool may decide to act decisively and make their move now, rather than waiting for the summer. The situation with Mohamed Salah is also worth keeping an eye on. There's been much speculation surrounding his future at the club, especially with the ongoing interest from Saudi clubs. However, it seems unlikely that Salah will leave Liverpool in this transfer window. The real talks will likely happen in the coming weeks, and while there are some behind-the-scenes tensions, there's little indication that Liverpool would sell him this January. Salah will soon return from his AFCON commitments with Egypt, and it seems he will continue to play a key role for Liverpool once he's back. However, there are still unresolved issues. Salah was dropped from the starting 11 for the first time this season after a heavy loss to PSV in the Champions League. He's now been left out of Liverpool's starting lineup for the last 6 matches, though the team has gone unbeaten in that time. This raises questions. If Liverpool continues their winning run without him, will Salah be guaranteed a return to the first team? This could create an uneasy dynamic upon his return, and it remains to be seen how this situation develops. As for strengthening the squad defensively, there's a strong argument that Liverpool needs to bolster their backline. Before Isak's injury, strengthening the defense seemed to be the main priority for January. Liverpool have been linked with Mark Guéhi, who almost joined the club in the summer, only for the deal to collapse on deadline day. Now, as his contract at Crystal Palace nears its final stages, Liverpool's interest in him could reignite. There's also the possibility that Guéhi could be available for free in the summer, but in January, foreign clubs, including Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, could make their move. This makes it a critical time for both Crystal Palace and Guéhi. If the transfer happens in January, it could significantly impact Palace's fortunes this season, as Guéhi is their captain and key defender. Regarding the potential transfer fee, Crystal Palace would likely demand a substantial amount, despite Guéhi's contract expiring soon. A fee of around £20 to £25 million could be expected, considering his remaining contract. However, selling him in January might not be the best option for Palace, given their ongoing ambitions in the domestic and international competitions. From the player's perspective, moving in January might not be ideal either. Guéhi will be in a stronger position in the summer, with the opportunity to negotiate a better deal. His focus may remain on achieving success with Crystal Palace for the remainder of the season, rather than forcing a move now. In terms of Crystal Palace's decision, they will have to weigh the immediate financial gain from selling Guéhi against the potential impact of losing their captain and best defender in the middle of a crucial season. For now, it seems that both the club and the player will be better off waiting until the summer,